Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Nix, and I'm the Special Magistrate for the city's code enforcement hearings. We're calling to order the hearings at 2 p.m. today on August 12th, 2024. These are public hearings for code enforcement violations. The hearings are quasi-judicial in nature, and I'm the Special Magistrate appointed to hear these cases. The formal rules of evidence do not apply, although fundamental due process shall be observed. Everyone who has a case today will have an opportunity to present testimony. You may present evidence and/or witnesses to testify on your behalf, and there's no public comment portion of these proceedings. You must be a respondent or be called as a witness in order to speak on a specific case. Everything today is being recorded, and all testimony will be under oath. When you are sworn in, please provide your current mailing address so any orders get to the correct address, please. The city will present its case first, and information will be displayed on the screens. Documents may be provided by the city as evidence, and the city's PowerPoint presentations will be entered into evidence unless objections are made. After the evidence, I will make a ruling. That ruling will be reduced to writing and mailed to you. If we could go ahead and swear in any of the city staff and witnesses who might be presenting today or speaking. If you think you might talk, go ahead and raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you hereby swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give this afternoon is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Before we get the hearing started, I would just like to say that I reviewed the July 8th, 2024 minutes from those hearings and that they are hereby approved. Okay, and it looks like the first case, well, first of all, are there any changes to the agenda? Good afternoon. Hi. Okay, go ahead. I think we have a Massey hearing first up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
The case number 24-84, Officer May Wright. In this case, you are last month in reference to overgrowth in an operative vehicle. And a copy of your order should be provided as a exhibit.
Thank you.
All right. I have for exhibits the affidavit for the notice of Massey hearing, and then a copy of your order. Let me see. And it's all stapled together.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So again, this is the Massey hearing for case 24-84. Our respondents are Philip M. Kirkland and Christopher Kirkland. Our violation address is 4760 Winchester Drive, Titusville, Florida. Our violations are section 13-73 for inoperable vehicles and section 6-109 subsection 302.4 overgrowth. So the case was originally heard July 8th, 2024. The respondent did not attend the meeting. The respondent was ordered to correct the violations on or before August 9th, 2024. To correct the violation, the respondent was ordered to mow and trim the yard, removing overgrowth of grass and weeds. And the second was to demonstrate for the code officer that the RV, cars, and personal watercrafts on the property are operational and all have valid registration and plates, or be removed from the property. Compliance was not achieved. A fine of $50 per violation per day, commencing August 10th and continuing until the violation is corrected, and administrative costs in the amount of $198.97 were imposed. So I was out of the office due to an emergency last week, but Inspector Flanagan did go out on the 8th to do a check of the property. The overgrowth remained around the jet ski, as well as the vehicles were all in the exact same spot as previously recorded. I did meet with Christopher Kirkland this morning about 10:30 a.m. Again, he verbally said that none of the vehicles are running and he did not have current registrations or plates for them at this time, and no additional work for the overgrowth was done.
Okay, and did you say it was Christopher that you met with?
Yes.
Okay. And I understand, meeting with Christopher Kirkland, and I recall the testimony about that being one of the people that you had spoken with before. Just to clarify, I had the owner, Philip Kirkland, as the only respondent for the prior order because they're the owner of
Correct.
the property. Okay. Okay, and did they say that they intended on attending the hearing or anything of
No,
that manner?
he did not wish to attend the hearing. I let him know that it was up to him. I did explain that all the violations would be reported as in violation still, and that daily fines would start, and that he needs to contact me when the vehicles are removed from the property or running again and registered, for those violations to be put into compliance and fines to stop. And he stated he understood that. He does have my phone number, both office and city-issued cell.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and as far as the city's request then, are you looking for the imposition of the $50 per day per violation, the 2 violations, of course, and to begin on August 10th, is there any request for further imposition of administrative costs or no,
We do.
since that was?
We do want those imposed, yes, ma'am.
Were there additional costs since the last
No, ma'am.
hearing? Okay, that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
check. Okay. Okay, I had included those in the prior order, so I just wanted to double check as to that. Okay, just for purposes of the record, is there a respondent in the audience for this matter? Hearing none, I'll go ahead with my order. And thank you.
Thank
Officer.
you.
Okay, I've accepted and considered the documentary evidence and sworn testimony relating to this matter from city staff. I do find that the respondent, Philip Kirkland, is the owner of the property with the physical address of 4760 Winchester Drive in Titusville, Florida, 32780. I find that all required notices were provided in accordance with city code and state law and was met for these proceedings. And I do find that there is a remaining violation of both section 6-109, subsection 302.4 overgrowth weeds, as well as a violation of section 13-73 inoperative vehicles prohibited. And I'm going to impose a fine of $50 per day per violation, as mentioned in the prior order. So that is to begin on August 10th, 2024. And that will continue daily until the violations are rectified and reported to the city, and that is confirmed by the city's code enforcement department. And I will provide a written order following this hearing. All right. And next case.
Yes, ma'am, this takes us to our initial hearings. First case is 24-86, 3452 South Hopkins Avenue. And the officer in this is Jim Flanagan.
Good afternoon. I have 3 items to submit to you, which is the notice of violation, the notice of hearing, and the cost recovery affidavit.
Thank you. And these are accepted as exhibits. All right.
All right. Oh, the respondents on this case will be Alan and Jewel Griffin. The violation address is 3452 South Hopkins Avenue. The mail to address is 2100 McGregor in Fort Myers. The original violations were for electrical cover plates and the electrical equipment installation. Those have been complied since the original violation. 304.1, the general exterior maintenance, 304.6, exterior walls, 304.7, roof and drainage, and 6.56A for building permit requirements. The initial inspection was on February 21st, 2024. When I checked the property and noticed the violations, date to give them to comply was originally on March 25th. Notice the respondent was mailed on February 26th and for first class, and in May 28th for certified. And the notice of hearing was posted on the property in City Hall on July 29th, and it was mailed certified on July 8th. Received a complaint from the previous tenant of issues with the building. I observed the roof had missing shingles on the side and rear. The front overhang had electrical wires not properly installed. The exterior walls not properly sealed. Plywood without proper painting or covering to cover the plywood and causing decay. And drainage from the roof improperly installed. And there was a metal roof installed on the back of the property without a permit. These are some photos that I took back in February. You can see they use some sort of spray sealant, and there's plywood on the side. That plywood on the bottom there is not properly sealed and causing decay as well. And that's just another up-close photo of the exterior maintenance. And this is on the back. The exterior walls, I don't know what was going on here, but they used aluminum and plywood and all kinds of weird stuff on there, which couldn't be. Oops, sorry. That's a photo of the roof from the side. You had missing shingles throughout the property all the way around. This is the back side. Roof's missing shingles on the roof as well. That's just another side shot of the shingles.
Okay.
This is the gutters on the side of the property. It sits about 3 feet off the ground, just isn't properly installed. And then on the back side here, this is where the building permit's required. Apparently they installed a new metal roof and they started a permit process, but it was never signed off and approved. It expired without being finalized. So that would need to be taken care of as well.
Is that, before you change the picture, if I could, is that the or go back to the one that you just had, rather?
The metal roof?
Yeah, is
There
that
we
a
go.
metal roof on the bottom half of the
Yes.
roof? kind
Yeah, on
of?
the
Okay.
back side of the property.
see.
Yeah.
All right,
There's the
thank
main roof, and then there was a addition added to the back. Apparently they had put a new roof on that because it was leaking, and they just never followed through with the permit process.
you. Got it.
Initially, after the violation went out, I met with John Tyler and Glenn from Team LBR, who was the property manager. I met them on site on February 4th, explained the violations to them. March 21st, I received an email from Tyler stating they had a contractor go by the property and they were gonna get quotes for the needed repairs. On July 29th, I finally received a call from Luke from Team LBR, who's a property manager. He requested more information, so I sent him a copy of the violation. And then on July 30th, I finally received a call from Alan, the property owner, and we spoke about the violations and what was needed to come into compliance.
Okay.
And again, the first two were taking care of. The conclusion of the facts of this case is the general exterior maintenance. The exterior of the building has spray foam to seal the walls. That needs to be properly done per code. The exterior walls, the walls are deteriorating and need repairs and properly sealed and done with proper materials. The roof and drainage, the roof repairs for the missing shingles need to be done, and the downspouts as well. and to obtain the permits for the metal roof in the back and for the re-roof of the shingled area as well. And also if they're gonna, when they're replacing the plywood, which I explained to them in the back, that would have to be permitted as well. To correct the violations for the exterior maintenance, make repairs to the exterior and properly seal the walls with approved items. The exterior walls, repair, replace the wall to properly install and seal the walls. Roof and drainage, repair roof shingles, properly install the drainage system and the roof, and obtain the permits for the metal section that was redone and any part of the roof and the walls that needed as well.
Okay.
Okay. Order to respondent to be assessed the administrative cost in the amount of $216.58. If the respondent does not comply by October 11th, it is being requested that a fine of $100 per day per violation be imposed for each of the violations until it gets corrected, sorry. I spoke with him. He said he can get this done within 60 days. That's why we gave him the October date.
Okay.
And then to contact me to arrange a inspection, to have it re-inspected, make sure everything's done and in compliance. That's all I got.
Okay. Would you mind going back to the recommendation slide that had the four, maybe one slide back? There we go. Okay, thank you. And is there a respondent here on this particular matter?
No.
Okay. Okay, then, for the record, I've accepted into evidence the affidavit of notice of violation with the notice of violation, the affidavit with the, about the notice of hearing with the notice of hearing, and the city's cost recovery form, as well as the PowerPoint presentation. And hearing nothing further, I'll go ahead with my ruling unless you had anything else to add. Okay, thank you. Okay, I've accepted and considered documentary evidence, photographs, and sworn testimony relating to this matter from city staff. The respondent is not present. I do find that the respondent, Jewel W. Griffith and Alan T. Griffith, are the owners of the property with the physical address of 3452 South Hopkins Avenue, Titusville, Florida, 32780, and with the mailing address of 2100 McGregor in Fort Myers. I find that all notices were provided in accordance with the city code and state law, and that notice was therefore met for these proceedings. I do find that the city has proven violations of the following sections of the city code. Section 6-109, subsection 304.1 of the IPMC, which is general exterior maintenance. And, oh, can I see that? I just wanted to look at that.
Which one?
The almost last slide,
No. You need to go back there.
just so I could see how to order, how they'll correct the violation to come into compliance. It has the 4 subsections of the code. And it says recommendation at the top, I believe.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I do find that there's violation of subsection 304.1, general exterior maintenance, as shown by the spray foam on the wall. And that to correct that violation, they need to make repairs to the exterior to properly seal the walls with approved items. I find that there's a violation of section 6-109, subsection 304.6, exterior walls. And that in order to correct the violation, the respondent needs to repair or replace the walls to properly install and seal the walls. I find that there's a violation of section 6-109, subsection 304.7, roofs and drainage, and that was shown by missing shingles as well as improperly installed gutter. And that to correct that violation, they need to repair the roof shingles and properly install or repair the drainage system. And lastly, let's see, section 6-56, subsection A, building permit required. And in order to correct that violation, they need to obtain a roof permit for the metal roof installed and the rest of the roof as is needed. I'll hereby impose the administrative costs of the city in the amount of $216.58 and order that the respondent needs to correct the violations by October 11th, 2024, or there will be a daily fine imposed of $100 per day per violation. Also, future violations of those sections of the city code may be classified as repeat violations. And in order to, once the respondent has come into compliance with all of those sections of the code, or as they come into compliance with each section of the code, it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the city's code enforcement department such that the city code enforcement officers can come out and verify that compliance has actually been achieved. And that is my order. Thank you. Okay.
This will be case number 24-87, Edward Murray, 2034 Doyle Drive. The officer in this case is Jim Flanagan, and the respondent is present today.
Okay.
I also have an affidavit of notice of violation, notice of hearing, and the cost recovery for you.
Thank you. Is there any objection to these exhibits being entered into the record by a respondent here for the hearing? No, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Then I will accept the affidavit and notice of violation, the affidavit and notice of hearing, and the city's cost recovery sheet, which is in the amount of $287.02 into the record, as well as the PowerPoint presentation. Go ahead.
All right. Again, this is Edward Murray. The address is 2034 Doyle Road. The mail-to address is the same. The original violations were accessory structure, overgrowth and weeds, and roof and drainage. The first two, the accessory structure, which would have been the fence and the overgrowth, has been taken care of. So we're just down to the roof and drainage at this point.
Okay.
The violation was originally posted on October 26, 2023. Date to give them to comply was November 23rd, 2023. Notice the respondent was mailed on October 26th, first class, and on May 30th of certified. On 7/29/2024 was posted at City Hall and the property, and it was mailed certified and first class on July 8th. During proactive neighborhood checks, I observed several violations on this property. Would be the roof with torn tarps, sandbags missing, shingles, and the fence was falling, needed repair, and the overgrowth, which those two have been taken care of. So we're down to the roof. This was the original picture in October of the roof.
Okay.
All right. This was again in February of the roof. And again, last week, the roof is still, and it's still in the same condition today.
Okay.
And that's just a different picture. I had spoken to the owner previously, he had personal issues come up. He is here today. We discussed some arrangements today as well. The conclusions of the facts of this case is the roof is missing shingles and needs to be repaired or replaced, and obtain the proper permits as needed. And again, the recommendation is for the repair of the roof to approved code and obtain the permits as required. And the recommendation is the administrative cost in the amount of $287.02 if the respondent does not comply by, I'd like to change that till October 11th, please. And give them the 60 days. And a requested fine of $100 per day until the violation is corrected, and to contact me when it's done. I spoke to him, the agreement we came up with, I spoke to him, he's gonna re-roof it himself. He finally has the money and opportunity to do it. That's why we're requesting 60 days for him to get it taken care of.
Okay.
All right?
And then just to confirm too, because I know that you testified that, that the notice of violation was, mailed out and posted. You noted October 26, 2023 in your testimony. In the affidavit of violation, I think you just wrote 2024 by accident.
Yeah, I probably did by error. I
Okay.
apologize for
No
that. It
worries.
was 23, yes.
I was gonna ask. You verified it for me. Thank
Okay.
you. And is there a respondent who would like to come on up? If you just please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Edward Allen Murray, and my address is 2034 Doyle Drive, Titusville, Florida.
Okay, thank you. And what would you like to
I-
state today?
I'm not contesting any of this, ma'am. It needs a roof. Had some personal things that came up in regards to my parents. They're elderly, they're old, and last year my father passed away, so been trying to take care of my mom and get some things done, and she's had some major health issues, so I'm at the point now where I do have the money saved up to do the roof, and I will get that taken care of, but it does need to get done, and there's no argument on my part. It is what it is.
Understood. Sorry to hear about your circumstances. Is October 11th enough time?
Yes, ma'am.
For you to get that
I can
done?
get this done in 60 days.
Okay. Okay, then I don't have any other questions unless you have anything to mention.
No, we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and enter my order. I've accepted and considered documentary evidence, photographs, and sworn testimony relating to this matter from both city staff as well as the respondent, Edward Murray. As to this matter, I find that the respondent, Edward Murray, is the owner of the property with the physical address of 2034 Doyle Drive, Titusville, Florida, 32796, which is the subject of these proceedings. I find that all required notices were provided in accordance with the city code and state law, and that notice was met for these proceedings. I do find that a violation of section 6-109, subsection 304.7, roofs and drainage of the International Property Maintenance Code, existed as provided by city staff and continue to exist on the property as confirmed by the respondent. And that respondent either failed or refused to correct the violations within the time period prior to the hearing. And I do find that the violation currently exists on the property. I'll hereby impose the city's administrative costs of $287.02. And then order that, that the respondent be given until October 11th, 2024 to correct the violations of the city code. And that if a respondent fails to correct the violations by such date, a fine will be entered in the amount of $100 per day until the violation comes into compliance. In order to correct the violations, the roof shingles need to be repaired or replaced, and if a permit is necessary, make sure that is obtained as well. And further, future violations of the same section of the city code may be classified to be repeat violations. Once the respondent brings the property into compliance, it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the city code enforcement department and let them know that you've brought it into compliance such that they can come by and verify that it's been brought into compliance. Okay, thank you. That is my order. Thanks. Have a nice day.
Yes, ma'am. This will be case number 24-90. Rachel Pouncey and David Pouncey, 710 Wagger, and Officer Frank Lewis.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'd like to enter the affidavit for notice of violation, the cost recovery, and the notice of hearing into as exhibits.
Thank you. Okay, and I'll accept these for the record.
Okay, this is case 2490, initial hearing. Respondents are Rachel Pouncey and David Pouncey. Just for the record, to start with, Rachel Pouncey is deceased.
Okay.
David is her son. Violation address is 710 Wager Avenue here in Titusville, mailed to 2975 Beale Street in Titusville, where his mother did reside. Violation charges are section 30-305A, continuing landscape maintenance required. Section 13-73, inoperable vehicles prohibited. And section number 3, section 28-151, land development regulations. The initial inspection was on 5/2, May 2nd, 2024, and notice of violation posted on site. Date given to comply was on or before June 2nd, 2024. The notice to respondents was mailed on May 2nd, 2024, in first class and certified. The notice of hearing was posted at City Hall and hand-delivered to the owner on the property where the violation exists. And certified mail, first-class mail was also mailed on July the 8th, 2024. The violation is, this is a commercial property that has no structure on it at all. It's just a bare piece of land. It has an inoperative truck there and a trailer, which are outdoor storage, which is also prohibited in that zoning classification. And the continuing landscape maintenance is the dirt. It's just a bare lot. There's no landscaping on it that was required from the get-go. I have spoke with the owner a couple of times by phone and met him on site a couple of times. He said he was going to try to get it done, but so far we're, as of 1 o'clock today, it was in the same condition. This photo here, you can see there's the truck and the trailer. And you can see where the bare, all the bare sand is just, blowing everywhere. Again, this lot is a fairly long lot. And that's the outdoor storage. 28151 prohibits outdoor storage. Outdoor storage, this property is zoned community commercial. Outdoor storage is only allowed in a couple of zoning areas in Titusville with exceptions and limitations. So the conclusion in the case is 30-305, that the ground cover is missing from the property. 1373, the inoperative vehicles are still there. And 28151, the outdoor storage of the vehicles and the trailer is there on site. Still.
Okay. As to the ground cover that's missing, what does the city want them to do?
Plant
Establish
either
sod or-
grass or sod it, either one. Okay, our recommendation is order respondent be assessed administrative cost in the amount of $128.53. And if the respondent does not comply by September 6, 2024, it's requested that a fine of $100 per violation per day be imposed for each day the violation continues. And they must contact me for an arrange for an inspection once they obtain compliance. And he is not here. I thought he would be, but he is not here.
Okay. And as far as the outdoor storage, is that trailer just parked by itself with stuff in it?
Yes, ma'am, it has some things on it. Right now, he's got some panels on it where he's gonna try to put up a fence. It's got some wooden fencing panels on it right this minute.
Okay, and as far as the inoperative vehicle that's there, how do we know that that's inoperative?
That vehicle has not moved in quite some time. He has made no attempt to show us it runs.
Is there, is the tag current, or is it just been
You
sitting?
can't see the tag the way it's situated.
Okay. Is there anything grown up around it, or probably not, if it's just sitting in?
He has a couple of, he has one small tree on the side up front near the sidewalk.
I mean, is there anything grown up around the tires of the vehicle showing that it's not moved, or perhaps not, since most of that seems to be dirt?
There possibly
lot.
could be a few weeds. Well, yeah, a little bit around the front there. That's about it.
Okay. Okay. And then would you mind going back to that slide that shows what they have to do in order to correct the violations for me?
Yes, ma'am. All this is saying here, that needs to be sodded or some kind of approved ground cover put down. They would need to contact Development Services here at City Hall, and they could tell them what they would accept. The property owner behind this parcel here was decided for the same thing last month, and they sodded theirs.
Got it. Maybe one more. Perfect, thank you. And, okay, I've got your recommendation. Was there anything else to add?
No, ma'am, I really thought he would be here, but
Okay. All right, just for purposes of the record, is there a respondent here in the audience for this matter today? Hearing none, I'll go ahead with my order. Okay, I've accepted and considered documentary evidence, photographs, and sworn testimony relating to this matter from city staff. The respondent was not present at today's hearing. I find that the respondent, listed as Rachel Pouncey and David Pouncey, are the owners of the property with the physical address of 710 Wager Avenue in Titusville, Florida, 32780, which is the subject of these proceedings. I find that all required notices were hereby met in accordance with the city code and state law, and that notice was therefore met for these proceedings. I do find that violations of the following sections of the city code exist, which are section 28-151 outdoor storage, section 13-73 inoperative vehicles prohibited, and section 30-305A continuing landscape maintenance required. And that in order to come into compliance with those sections of the code, they need to remove the outdoor storage as to section 28-151, that the vehicle, the inoperative vehicle, must be removed from the property, as to section 13-73 inoperative vehicle, and that for section 30-305A, continuing landscape maintenance required, that ground cover needs to be placed and established on the property, and the city would direct the respondent to get in touch with Development Services with any questions as to that. Let's see. I'll hereby impose the city's administrative costs in the amount of $128.53 and order that the violations be corrected by September 6th, 2024. And if they are not so corrected, that $100 will be imposed per day per violation as to those violations. Further, future violations of the same sections of the city code may be classified to be repeat violations. And once the property owners, once the respondent comes into compliance with the aforementioned sections of the city code, that they are instructed to contact the city's code enforcement department to report compliance and have same verified by the code enforcement department. Okay, and that is the order for that particular case. And it looks like that's the
That
end
is
of the
last
agenda.
case. That was the
Okay,
last case.
that went pretty quickly. All right. Well, thank you. If there's nothing further, I'll see you all next month.
Chelsea?
Okay? And we're hereby adjourned at 2:44 PM. Thank you.